Some care for a rub down.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Something special is about to happen.
Are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Very aroused.
Better than later.
Let's do this.
That is incredible. That is unbelievable. That is brilliant.
Yeah, g'day rubbers. Welcome back to the Weekly Rub Down, a podcast that rubs down everything NRL Supercoach. You are listening to the Halfback Rub Down. I'm your host, Natty, the triple champion, and with me as always, running shotgun in the Rub Down. Mobile is Wooker, the stats daddy.
How's
What's
it
up,
going,
baby?
my friend?
Good, man, good.
I mean, we're pretty much halfway through after this potty through the
Stop it.
positions, and oh my god, look, it is helping frame the outlook of my side from both a drafting sense, but also a classic sense. So I'm looking forward to this, man, because this is going to be a pretty important position to get right. There's a few throwaway positions. Hooker, we know that, and we're probably going to be talking about the other throwaway position after this one. But look, it's getting me all tingly.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
There's a little bit of chatter about a few cheapies. There's a bit of chatter about goal kicking and all that sort of stuff, and oof, gets me going.
Got to fucking peel back some layers here in this halfback podcast. That is for damn sure. But before we get into that, let's wet the whistle. Let's lubricate those tonsils because we do our best work half cut.
Damn
Cheers.
straight. So I'm drinking a lovely botanical. It's like a spirit, an Aussie spirit called Vantage. Get onto it, give it a crack. It's actually fucking sensational.
Nice. What's your pronouns?
Drunk and loose.
Good. Return serve. That's nice. That's
Yep.
nice from you. Yeah, I'm on beer, believe it or not.
Oh wow! Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
more King Browns, or is it
No,
not that
King
top
Browns.
of the day?
Well, this may surprise you, but I did finish them all that during that 2RF podcast.
Shock me, shock me.
Oh god, we were in fine fucking form in that one.
Yeah,
Good
I
kid.
needed a bit of Barocca the next day. If I'm honest, it was a bit rough.
Right, when my daughter was fucking poking me in the forehead at 5:30 in the morning, Dusty,
Dusty Springfield.
go get the iPad and fuck off for a second, would you, please? Oh, Daddy's head hurts.
Yep.
Oh
fuck.
god, good gear though.
No,
Right,
sure.
so before we get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, obviously we'll give the Patreon a bit of a plug. We do that every fucking episode because these rub downs, these podcasts are brought to you by the Rub Club, aka the Weekly Rub Down Patreon. Everything is firing all cylinders there. Stats coming left, right, and center. But also, we just had the challenge pack go live, which is fantastic. We're going to have a few people jump in and buy that bad boy. So she's live now. Head on over to Instagram. Our stories will have the link. There'll be a link in the Patreon if you're a subscriber as well. $17, a little bit cheaper if you're a subscriber. But yeah, if you're looking to just add a whole lot to your league, make it better, juice it up. If you want to make a little weekend for yourselves to head away, even if it's just a day for all of you to get together, have a few drinks, this is perfect. So, it kills two birds with one stone. You get together, have a laugh, have a few beers, have some fun with the challenges and games, and your draft order is selected as well. So it's all there, like I said, from where to go. Everything you ever need to sort out your challenge day. So get on there, have a look, and then you got it for life. Yeah, it's a one-off purchase, and you set your league up, and you can build on it. It's very good. A lot of work, a lot of effort went into it. So let me know what you think of it once you've got it.
No, absolutely. And look, it's a lot of graft to get where it is. And when I say graft, it's over 7 years of shaping and changing things and testing stuff. So this is the byproduct of that.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun if a few of you get out there and sort of replicate this challenge day, because then we can all sort of talk about how we went and share videos and war stories. And it's going to be good. And like Wook said, we've done the last 7-8 years of fucking it up, getting it wrong, changing things, adding rules, taking rules away to get it perfect. It is perfect right now, and the product that you see in the challenge pack is the perfected product that we have honed over the last few years. So, yep, very proud of it. Get amongst it, because it's boring as fucking batshit if you're clicking, randomize order, or if you're just doing something that's not really bringing people together, something that's not like a cohesive thing that's getting everyone up and about, creating some banter, having a drink, catching up. If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. So,
Absolutely.
yes, love it. So, yep, get amongst it. The Rub Club, please, $8 a month if you want to support the platform as well. That's the best place to do it. That's how we keep the lights on here in the Rub Club. Now, for the Rubbers League, obviously you need to leave your best 5-star sledge with us. We pick our favorite 9. Wook and I run a team, and you come up against us. The league will mirror the Lovers League, so there'll be bets and all sorts of fucking shenanigans going on throughout the year. We've had a couple of good ones so far. Let's get into our next 5-star sledge, and that's from, one of our faves, one of the 1%ers here, Matty Willsy. And I skimmed this one because I wanted to save my reaction for the podcast, but yeah, I think he gets us here. Now, 5-star sledge. Imagine my disappointment showing up to my first day in the Rub Club holding my half-chubbed Rocky Johnson whilst everyone else is holding spreadsheets. If you enjoy fellatio during the production of fecal matter, this is the show for you. From classic calls such as Teddy's getting too old to don't draft front rowers in 2025, the lads never miss a beat. Natty's the bloke that bullied you all through high school, who you see at the reunion, and he starts telling you all about his fantasy sports podcast. We're really starting to take off after 10 years, and we even sell T-shirts now, sometimes. Oh, fuck. Wow. Pretty sure that that fat caterpillar on his top lip is the only thing he and Freddie Mercury had in common, if you know what I'm saying. Gawk, gawk.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Wooker is basically AI if AI had an extra chromosome. Oh, wow.
That's possibly the call out of any of these.
Wow.
That is absolutely awesome.
You've been hit for fucking 6 there, mate. Holy fuck.
Look, I don't even take that as a slight of the happiest people in the world.
Wow. Wooker is basically AI if AI had an extra chromosome. That is top shelf.
Next level.
This bloke conned his wife into naming his son after a Broncos Hall of Famer. Not sure if that's cool or not, but it's certainly something. Can't wait for him to have a daughter and name her Reese. Listening to this show is a bit like dropping the soap in prison. The first time, it's a complete nightmare. However, now it's my favorite part of the day. 5 stars. Well done. Well done. That AI bit, that's up there.
Yeah, I have to admit, even when I sent it to you, that was like the pinnacle for me.
Yeah, that's up there with Natty's as dumb as the dumbbells that Wooker can't lift.
Yeah,
fuck.
That is
good gear. Good gear. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I laugh. I still laugh about that call. Natty's as dumb as the dumbbells that Wooker can't lift. Fuck, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Well done, Wilsey. That's good. That's up there, brother. Yeah. Wow. When I have to pause mid-sledge to laugh and just gather my thoughts.
It's going to be up there at the end of this. It's
going to be hard to beat.
I think it's going to be pretty safe bet he makes the cut this year.
Yeah. Well done, Wilsey. Good one, brother. Righto. Anything else? Oh, yeah. We'll probably get into news.
Yeah, so there's been a bit of news floating around.
Let me play this sting. I've got the sting.
Right, with a Channel 4 News exclusive. Brian?
Panda Watch.
Go.
Well, one of the first things is Peter Bedell, he put out an article just about his predicted team list for the Cowboys and had a bit of chatter about who is leading the run for round 1. specifically for the right centre spot. And yeah, Tommy Chester is. We've already heard that he's absolutely killing it on the beat tests and setting records up there with Dearden week in, week out. But yeah, apparently he's ahead with the right centre position. So massive cheapie alert there. And his dual position as well. One of the very, very few fullback duels. So look, he's definitely one I'd be considering as like a last pick in the draft, if I'm honest.
Yeah, someone that definitely we're going to have to put in the sheet to have a little chat about in the CTW podcast for sure. And God, didn't we need another cheapie in the CTWs as well?
Oh, big time.
Thank
Look,
you.
it makes it a lot easier for us to pull together our round one teams in Classic. That's absolutely for sure.
Yep, that cunt comes straight in.
And just with there's obviously a little bit more chatter about the whole Lomax situation with the Storm. So look, really interested to see how this one falls. I think the three players they're banding about as like a player swap potentially could be Coates or Howarth, or even Stefano got named doing an about face going back to the Eels, so where he spent a bit of time. So yeah, it's definitely one to watch there because I think it changes the dynamic of both teams and a few of the options in both of the teams as well. So
Parramatta for just going back and going, yeah, nah, like we're not doing this for free. This is what we want.
Fuck oath.
You know, like, and if you don't like that, and jog on, cunts. Like,
and
yeah,
honestly, Lomax put himself in that position. Like he agreed the exit clause and everything
100%.
else. So look, he's made his bed. He needs to sleep in it. So, and the last one was today. We went to Australian Museum and I spotted Victor Radley. We went in the lift together. Had a freshie newborn. So he might be getting a few sleepless nights. I wouldn't be targeting him early in Classic or in drafts. So just keep that in mind.
Nice.
But yeah, he looked fit and fresh though. So
yeah, okay. You're a big boy. He's a thick boy, isn't he?
He's a thick boy. Yeah,
he's a thick boy. You like him thick too, don't you, Wook? Now,
mate, you're the one who's Gorkin, so I can turn it up.
I pronounce it Gork. You were like, no, sweetheart, it's.
Mate, I was.
So that was a good pickup by you.
I was just parrot fashioning it.
That's a good pick. That's a good pickup from you. You know,
I listened to it from you through the mic.
Don't reverse out of it. You're in it now. You're stuck in the stuck in the mud. No, it was bang on. It was good impersonation. You've done plenty of it.
Oh, fucking hell.
Now I'll add in this. So I've had a couple of comments coming off the 2RF podcast. A few people going, you didn't mention this guy. You didn't talk about this guy. You didn't talk about this guy. You know what we did talk about was, hey guys, sorry, we can't fucking talk about all the 2RFs. And we sort of had to spread it across all the teams in the NRL. So apologies again that we didn't get through all of them. One, it would have been a 7-hour podcast. And the way that I was drinking it that night, I wouldn't have made it. I would have passed that on my mic.
2RF is a long podcast either way. So we have to pick and choose the players that we're really keen on, really.
For sure. But, it's, you know, we're keen on people getting in contact with us and saying, hey, did you talk about this guy because of this, this, and this? So I had someone mention Tallis Duncan to us that, like, you know, he had such a great end of the season. Why didn't you guys talk about him? And fair chat. He's not really on our radar because there's a lot of red flags surrounding Tallis Duncan. And plus, we spent too long on a Bunnies 2RF anyway. We had to move on from that team. Yeah,
for sure.
But Tallis Duncan for me, and Wookie can jump in at the end of this as well. Tallis Duncan for me, I'm not sure if he lines up on the left or the right. If the right,
it's the right.
Both have red flags for me anyway. Even if he does line up on the left, which is the perfect scenario for Tallis Duncan, you've still got now Latrell Mitchell outside him. Who do you think is getting more ball from Cody Walker, Tallis Duncan or Latrell Mitchell? If you think it's Tallis Duncan, welcome to rugby league. This is your first year. That's the red flag. And then if he moves to the right edge for the Bunnies. I mean, Campbell Graham is a fucking weapon of a player and averages 45. So there's a lot of red flags around Tallis Duncan career year as well. Scored a lot of tries. He was used a lot more in attack because they didn't have a lot of attacking weapons. now he's on the radars of defenses as well. Defenses are going to be aware of him. So although I'm quite aware that he fucking had a fantastic back end of the season, I owned him, I know. He is falling off my radar a little bit. Well, a lot, actually, just because I think there's going to be huge regression this year.
Yeah, I think there's going to when we talk regression, we're talking about like what his non-injury and bench affected average was, because he wasn't starting at the start of the season. He grew into that position. So, look, his average was 60.9 from last season. You take out those injury affected and the bench games early on, it jumps up to a 71 average, 71 and a half, to be honest. Look, I don't see him falling away from a 60 average. I think that's 100% doable, because you look at his base power average of 49, which jumps up to a 53 when you take out those injury affected games. Like, I'm still interested. It's just everyone's going to be on his dick, and he like sucks the absolute value out of him in draft. Classic, like if the Bunnies had a better run at the start of the season, they've got one of the hardest strength of schedules from rounds 1 to 8 of any team. It's one of the reasons why we didn't really talk about him. Yeah.
There's a method to our madness, guys.
To everyone's shock, including my own.
But like, if he lands on that right edge, no thanks, honestly.
Look, if he lands on the right edge, look, we've seen in the past that Koloamatangi can score points on the right edge.
I don't even know who the half's going to be out there. Who's the half going to be on the right edge?
Humphreys, maybe.
Just maybe.
But
who
Sullivan,
knows?
if he plays well.
Who knows? That's what I mean. Like, it's just... Anyway, thanks for mentioning him, but that's why. And if there's anyone else that we missed that you think we should cover, get in contact with us, and we'll just do that. We'll talk about it like that. We'll cover why we didn't talk about them, and then we'll give a quick sort of like an opinion piece on that player, if you want. What my baby wants, my baby gets. That type of scenario. So you're welcome. Any more news, bro?
No, that's about it, mate.
Righto. Should we fucking rub these hands together and get into these halfbacks?
Let's get into it, my son.
Nathan Cleary! I'd even excuse a little TikTok dance after that try.
What sorcery is this?
Nice job. Let's get you a rub down.
All right, Wook, halfback. What are we looking for here?
Well, I mean, it's a really high quality position. So this is your high ceiling potential. So that's kind of what you're looking for. So you got to be looking at similar things that you want out of your fullback. So you want them to be a dominant sort of player in attack. You want them to have backup play, ideally a goal kicker. From a halves perspective, you want them to be on the attacking edge for that team that they're playing for. So you want them to, like I said before, the backup play for some halves, it's massively important. For others, like DCA, it's less of a concern, because they're just stringing together try assists and line break assists left, right, and center. So look, it's those are the key things you want to be looking for. So having your finger on the pulse as to the team that they're playing for is an attacking team. So less so like the Knights from last season. Probably don't want one of half from that team from last season. This season, changing of the guard, changing of the team, it's less of a concern. So I'm looking at like the halves at the Dragons. I'm a little bit concerned. The fact is, like, Atkinson's a cheapie, so I'm not that worried. But in draft, yeah, I'm not really looking at either, him or Flano.
100%. When you talk about halfbacks, you want try involvements, and if they're goal kicking, you want obviously those goal kicking points.
Line break involvements as well.
Yep. And so if you're playing for a shit team who's not scoring a lot of points, those stats are going to be way down. So that's something you need to look at. Playing on the dominant edge, love that call as well. A nice base, sort of like a mid-20s pure base, is a nice sort of, baseline to work from. You add your line break involvements, your try involvements on top of that, some goal kicking. That's how you start getting up around those 55, 60 points. And then above that is your elite guys that are just running teams, that are the alpha dicks in their team, and they're doing absolutely everything. And that's why you take those guys round 1, round 2, because their fingerprints are on absolutely everything good that team does.
No, absolutely.
All right, let's look at the top halfbacks in 2025 with a minimum of 15 games. Nathan Cleary at number 1, 84.5. Nico Hines at number 2 with a 77 average. Jaden Campbell, number 3 with a 73 average. Jamal Fogarty, number 4 with a 68 average. Number 5 is Isaiah Katoa at 65. Thomas Dearden at 6 with a 65 average. Number 7, Adam Reynolds with a 65 average. Number 8, Jerome Hughes with a 65 average. Number 9, Luke Metcalf with a 63 average. And Adam Dewey with a 57 average. So some big swinging dicks there. Jamal Fogarty with a career year. Isaiah Katoa kicking on, looking good. Then you have Campbell, Hines, Cleary, yummity, yum. Right, let's get into our rough rub ranks. Pretty easy to start here. Nathan Cleary, number 1, bank him. Nico Hines, number 2, bank him. We love Sam Walker, 2026. He comes in at number 3. Yeah. Also sucking Jaden Campbell's dick all the way down to the Chewy Centre. He's at number 4. Jerome Hughes slips down to number 5. Isaiah Katoa at 6. Tommy Dearden at 7. Mitch Moses at 8. Lockie Galvin at 9. And Jamal Fogarty rounds out your top 10 there at number 10. So what's your first inclination on this list? Obviously, we've got Dylan Brown, Adam Reynolds, Adam Dewey, all hot on their tails to make this list.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep. It's a pretty deep list, the halfback position.
Yeah, like I think there's obviously a few players that have changed their roles in teams. Jamal Fogarty has changed teams. Lockie Galvin has had a preseason with his team. Mitchy Moses has picks up the goal kicking. Sammy Walker will have a non-injury affected season, and he has some absolute guns coming into the team. Like there's a lot of upticks for a few of these players. So look, looking at the guys that are hot on the heels. Look, Adam Dewey and Dylan Brown are the two that really stand out for me. Like you could put another 10 on the predicted average that we've got for them, and I wouldn't really bat an eye because they've got it in them. So yeah, it's a deep position this season, especially when you compare it to like Hooker and other
5'8", yeah, 100%
well,
gross.
It's more like 5'8", and we've spoken about this a little bit. Is it's a deep position, but it's not deep in quality. So in 5'8", you don't have. I don't think you've got any options that you're confident will get over 70 average. Whereas here, I'm confident that we'll have at least 4 average over 70 this season. And like there's potential for there to be 6 or 7, to be honest. So look, it is a position that I'm going to be charging at in rounds 2 or 3. But you really want one. I mean, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, I'm looking at it pretty early in the draft, especially in the top 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah, I saw a video from our boy Maxi today just talking about how deep the halfback position is. And he's right, but he also sort of added on there that you can wait a little bit. I don't know if I agree with that because I've got a feeling that a lot of these...
Quality drops off.
Even though you've got maybe 10 halfbacks that you're going to be happy with there, they're all going to go quite quick. Like there's a world there that 80% of the viable halfback options are gone by round 3.
Yeah.
There's a world where that happens. So when you talk about how deep it is, all of a sudden that depth gets sucked up because of the run on halfbacks, but everyone wants a good one and they start disappearing real quick. Like, you know, Cleary, Hines, Walker, Campbell, Hughes, there's a world where all of them go round 1 in some leagues.
And the other thing to consider is, like, aside from other years, there aren't any duels that are in. There's one duel that's a bench option that's in our top 20. There's no duels. So if you want backup, you might need to go early, and you might need to like spend an early pick, getting one of those top 14 halfbacks. Like,
and what's to say that your mate's not going to cock block you when you wait on these halfbacks, and then all of a sudden your mate's got a halfback, but then he goes, you know what, I'm going to fucking cock block old mate, and I'll pick the next halfback.
I've
and
done
then all
that
of
before.
Same. I think it's a fantastic play. I think that's what draft's all about. So although it is deep, I feel like these halfbacks are going to run out the fucking door quite quick. Like, you'll look up at the back end of round 3 and go, oh, I thought it was a fucking deep position. Doesn't look too deep now. Just keep that in mind.
I think when people say deep, it's deeper than seasons gone by.
For sure, 100% it is. Yeah.
Like for halfback, it's one of those positions that we found it really challenging to analyse because, it's only a handful of premium options and one or two mid options, and then it drops off a cliff. Like, we've got a nice thick range of options in that midsection. So, I'm confident in like halfback this season, but the lack of duels makes it so much more of a challenge like through the season, I think. So looping back around, maybe sacrificing at 2RF or maybe CT dub, picking up a backup option, or even like a shy at the stumps at someone like an Adam Dewey or someone like that. It's not the worst play in the world.
Yep. Well, I love that if you've gone fullback first, I love just gauging what's happening in your draft, Bruce Lee style, and making a decision between halfback and CTW. I think they're quite interchangeable with the second most important position on your draft boards.
Yep.
I think if you go CTW second, that's sweet. If you go halfback, I think that's sweet as well. Both do have depth and both do have value later on in the drafts. But if you get that position, either one of them, if you get that position right with your second pick and get a really tasty upside guy, you're starting to build your team very beautifully. So just keep that in mind, that like, we understand that it is a deep position. It's just about, and this is a case by case scenario with every draft and how it runs and where there's a run on players and things like that. And we're just looking at it as like a holistic thing, trying to give general opinions here. But I think it's safe to say that halfback CTW is a good spot to be in for your second pick if you have fullback first. If you've gone halfback first in round 1, obviously that's going to change things. It'll be fullback or halfback as the next priority in your, but it should be those three positions are your top priorities over the first 3 rounds.
No. I absolutely agree.
Yep. All righty. Those ranks will change, guys. Don't worry. And I don't think people realize that as well. Like, they're into us, which I love. That's good. Get into us. But it's like, this is early. That list will change. Even just sort of touching up a few of the study notes that I had today with some of the halfbacks I'll talk about, I'm like, might have to juggle that top 10 a little bit, which is good. It's good. That's what we want. We're learning.
Even some of the study that I've done on my player in focus, I'm cooling on him a little bit. And I'm actually a bit more keen on another player that I'll talk about a bit later.
Nice, baby. All right, let's get into some of these draft categories. Let's kick it off with the elite.
The elite. Best of the best.
I got a boner.
Now, this is picks 1 to 10, round 1. Obviously, in your drafts, you want big scores from these motherfuckers. 70, 75 plus, into the 80s. Let's go. Let's start with the man himself, the Prince of Penrith, Nathan Cleary. There's not a lot I need to say about Nathan Cleary, but let's just play the game anyway, right? Because you might be looking at Nathan Cleary as a number 1 pick overall, right?
Yep.
Super consistent over the past 4 years. 80, 89, 83, 84. Yum.
Loves an 80.
So you can pencil in a sort of mid-80s average without doing too much more study on him, which that is why he's a top 2 pick, right? The only blemish is that he will likely play 19-ish games. if there's no injuries. Like if there's no injuries, it looks like 19, 20 games is his sweet spot, with Origin coming through, with his resting risks and how they manage him.
His hemis and everything else as well.
Yep, 100%. So you're not going to get the full slate of games from him. But he is one of the all-time wet sailors from round 19 to 27. Get a load of this. 2021 averaged 89 at the back end. 2022, he only played 2 games at the back end of the year, so we'll throw 2022 out. 2023, 91. 2024, 104.
Holy diddly.
2025, 99. So last 3 years, 90 plus average, 91 plus average at the back end of the year. He likes to peak, and that's what the Panthers do as a team, right? They start peaking at the business end when you need him most, which that's huge for a guy that you're taking number 1 or number 2 overall, right? So he averages 96 at the back end of the season. He does have a poor strength of schedule. However, he is matchup proof, right? He's got the Raiders, some rounds 22 to 27. He's got Raiders, Wars, Chooks, Storm, Dogs, Tigers. I mean, he scored 118 last time he played the Tigers, scored an 86 last time he played the Dogs, 74 last time he played the Storm. He had an 80 and 116 against the Chooks last year. Does it matter? Probably not for Nathan Cleary.
No. He finds a way to score points.
For sure. So it really is hard to look past him as a pick 1 overall. And I think with these guys, with your Nathan Clearys, with your Tedesco's, with your Reece Walsh type operators, or Turbo even there, chuck him in there, or even Nico Hines. Some people are throwing him up.
I think Nico Hines you can't sleep on Nico.
It's pick your poison, back your gut. Who do you like? Who do you want? Who do you enjoy watching? Because I think they all have solid cases to put forward for a pick 1 overall. And I think you consume as much information and content as possible on all the guys that you're big on, especially if you've got that top 5 pick. And then you just sit with it. You just sit with it for a while. And sometimes you sit with it right up until the bell goes. That was me last year. I sat with it right up until I had to 10 seconds to go until I had to pick, and it was Nathan Cleary or Turbo. I sat with it, closed my eyes, mainly because I was really hungover and I had to take a couple of deep breaths so I'd vomit all over my stomach. But then I was just like, righto, no, I'm doing it. I'm backing my gut. I'm taking Turbo. Yeah, that's my advice. To be honest, there.
If you picked up Cleary, firstly, you would have lost in the semis, but even if you had made the grand final, he didn't play in round 26. So it is a massive, massive pick.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, back your gut, people. But Nathan Cleary, he is...
And 58% of his games, he scored over 80 points.
Crazy.
58. So that's huge. Big areas.
It's cray. All right, bro, talk to me. Who you got?
Nico Hines. We talk about wet sailors. I mean, last season from rounds 22 to 27, he averaged 90.6. And that's compared to a season average of 76.6. So yeah, he can definitely go well in finals. Speaking of finals, he's got a great strength of schedule. And realistically, like what we saw from him last season, 2 try involvements per game. Like I think there's room for growth, especially in the attacking output. Yeah, he's definitely someone that I'm very, very interested having another ride with him because look, I stayed the course with him last season. It was he was my first pick. I think I got him at pick 7. I think he should and he will go earlier than that. I've got him probably around 3 or 4. I've got him there personally. I've got him ahead of Walshy. I
like that.
Because what we saw from like Walshy in season 2023, he killed it. And then he and the Broncos were like a victim of this as well. They believed the hype. 2024 rolled around. They didn't really turn up. So I'm interested as a Broncos fan to see how that pans out. But yeah, it's that's one of the reasons why I've got Hines ahead of him. But like Cleary and Tedesco at times are like cheat codes. So it's hard to put like Hines above them. But you look at the strength of schedule in the finals. I'm not hating it.
He deserves to be in the conversation 100%, Nico Hines. That's a fair argument. I'm just sort of looking at the strength of schedule now for the finals. Definitely, if you are around 25 grand final series, the Sharks have the second best strength of schedule amongst those 4 games. And Nico Hines has the third best strength of schedule amongst right halves. 1 and 3, baby.
And who do they play in the grand final? It's the Titans.
We do love that.
And we always love that. So, yeah, it's a huge one for round 25 grand finals. But, look, round 26 grand finals, they're playing the Eels. It's not going to be an easy game, but it's not a difficult game from an attacking perspective. So, yeah, I'm pretty high on Hines this season.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, I guess with Hines, everyone's going to be pogo sticking fucking Nathan Cleary's dick and Reece Walsh's dick and Tedesco's dick. So it's likely that you'll get Nico at pick 4 in most leagues.
I think he drops to pick 4 as a maximum, as like a minimum in every league because of that. Which is exactly right.
Which is beautiful.
Which is fair enough. You just get him at value.
Yep. 100%. No, I'm with you. I'm big on Heinze for sure. He's
so if you get to select your pick and pick 4, you don't have to make a decision. You're happy with whatever you get, and then you have a better return pick. So, yeah, I don't hate that as a tactic as well.
Not a bad strategy there. The old pick 4. That's good. Yeah, that is nice. All right, brother. Let's You've highlighted him green. A little bit upset about that. You know that I love him.
Yeah, but you also highlighted JC. So I wanted to talk about both of them. So I wanted to talk about one of them at least.
Let's both talk about him. Sam Walker.
That's fine.
Go.
Get stuck in. Well, I mean, there's ups and downs with him. So you look at his average from last season, 69.9. Nice. You take out the non-injury affected games, that jumps up to a 79.3.
Baby.
Now, he was goal kicking at an over a 90% clip. I don't see that happening again this season. 18.5 points per game was from goal kicking. Like, it's going to be a really tough thing to back that up. But am I drafting him out that 79? No, I'm not. I think he can definitely get to the 75 that we've got him pegged at. And look, I think you take out you take out his injury and everything else from last season, to come back like he did, another level. You add on to that you've got a state hooker coming in. You've got a state halfback, well, who will play in the halves, coming in DCE. Like, this side, I think, low-key, should be the favourites to win the comp. And there's going to be a lot of points in this side, and there's going to be a lot of try involvements from Sammy Walker. Now, the detractions from my side, is there going to be more of a spread of attacking output with DCE in the side because Savala wasn't taking too much from him last season? That's my only concern. Hit us, mate.
Yeah. That is my main concern as well. I sort of jumped into the stats over previous years to get a really good gauge on Sammy. Go back to 2022, 71 average in non-injury games at halfback. 2023 had a 60 average, but he only played 8 games. So pretty injury-affected year, that one. 2024, 79 average if you take out his injury-affected game in that year. And then a 71 average in 2025 you take out his injury-affected games. So there was 2 of them. So the last 4 years in non-injury-affected games where he's played halfback, the 7 on his back, he's averaged 70 points.
Yeah. Like, I think you can confidently draft him at that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a slight body though, so you need to know that it comes with like an element of risk. So like we were talking about the tactic before, looping back around and getting another option, I would be, personally, if I went with Sammy Walker, I'd be sacrificing a CTW or a 2RF pick and getting someone else just as backup. Yeah, personally.
That's fair. And like that's 4 years, right? That's 4 years of him being a young halfback. He's going to be more mature in 2026, and he's got an embarrassment of riches when it comes to weapons. It just it has to be a slight bump up from that sort of 70 average there. So like you said, 75, pretty confident with pegging him at that. And it does. It puts him in the conversation to be above Jerome Hughes and above Jaden Campbell. A little bit closer to Jaden Campbell as I continue to dive into stats.
Yep.
They may juggle. They may swap positions later. I'm very big on Jaden Campbell as well, and his strength of schedule does come into play as well. But
big time.
Sam Walker, very sexy. And like you mentioned, coming back from that ACL and how well he played, that speaks volumes. And it's going to be hard how they sort of approach this and how Robbo approaches DCE coming to the team. Because, I mean, and how I see it, and I'm just a fucking dumb idiot on the couch drinking piss, but you wouldn't want DCE to come in and take the keys off Sam Walker. Sam Walker's going to be there for a long, long time. He is the future of that club.
But DC is there for a year before he goes in the coaching role, or a couple of years.
It would seem to me that DC is coming to help Sam Walker develop his game. That's how I see it going. And if that's the case, it may not be an hindrance. It may be just another thing that's going to add to Sam Walker being a really sexy Supercoach prospect in 2026. So, and this is the type of thing where you have to be like, right, I have to make a call here. When I'm drafting him, I have to be confident that, it's all going to line up for Sam Walker and and it's all going to work out. And, you back your gut and you make that call. And if it works out, it's going to be great. And if it doesn't, well, that's Supercoach, baby. That's draft. Yeah. You made a call, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But for me, I'll be backing him in for 2026.
Yeah, like I've got him as a top 10 pick. Like obviously the last few seasons, he's had 2 seasons where he's only played 8 games due to injury. I mentioned it before, he's a slight body, so he is probably a bit more injury prone than other players who are a bit more fuller bodies. But look, I think that team is just so star-studded. I think there's going to be plenty of points scored, and I think there's going to be plenty of Supercoach points shared amongst the whole side. You plonk him on the left side, which we think that's going to be the case. He's got some massive attacking assets there. We've already seen him link up quite well with Toops on that edge. I don't see him having any problems in picking up where he left off last season.
What's to say he doesn't float over to the right, and he has been a right half for maybe the majority of his career? What's to say he doesn't float over to the right at times, link it with DCE to create numbers? And now he's putting tries on for Mark knowing it was. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a world where that happens as well. So,
worst case scenario in that he gets try contributions. So it's a little uptick to his average either way. I think I think the sky's the limit with him. But there's a couple of detractions there. But look, it's I don't like if I'm around that sort of back end of round 1, I'm looking at him big time
for sure, 100%. When we were putting together the top 10, top 20, top 30, there's a few gambles that you have to take because, history tells us it's 60% of that top 10 is going to change. And it could be Sam Walker in there. Very well could be Sam Walker at the end.
And in reality, you can't fit in all the players that we're keen on. Like we're keen on a lot of players, and you can't shoehorn them all in as much as we tried.
100%. Now, another guy I'm huge on, and this is just rinse repeat from last year, but Jaden Campbell, and I'll be talking about him. Oh boy, I'll be talking about him in the Player in Focus exclusive Rub Down available over on the Weekly Rub Down Patreon, the Rub Club. If you want to hear that suck fest that I've got in store for you, you're going to have to head over there, sign up, $8 a month. But Jaden Campbell's about to get a servicing.
He's going to get the Natty Gawk treatment.
Gawk. How's it go again? Well, give it.
You say it better than I do.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find that little soundbite and I'm going to replay that a lot throughout this podcast when I'm in the editing.
Fucking hope so. How good. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
Right, let's get into the guns.
Lots of guns.
Mr. Burgundy, you have a massive erection.
Righto, this is picks 11 to 30, rounds 2 to 3 in a 10-man league. So at the moment, we've got Jerome Hughes and Isaiah Katoa in there. But you could lump Thomas Dearden in there. I mean, there's some people that'll reach for Mitchell Moses in this category as well with the goal kicking. But we'll stick with Jerome Hughes and Isaiah Katoa at the moment in this section. But like we said earlier when we're sort of talking about the position as a whole, there's a chance that a lot of these halfbacks run pretty quick.
Yeah.
But let's get into it, bro. Talk to me.
Yeah, so like talking about Jerome Hughes, I've got him down as a bit of a bust this season. And the reason for that is the loss of Eli Katoa cannot be understated.
Huge.
Yeah, it's like it is the biggest loss of any player affecting another that I can think of. Look at the end of the season last year, 64.6 average. However, had a few injury affected games. You take those out, bumps it up to a 74 average. So it's not all doom and gloom. So I don't think he's going to fall off the face of the planet, but it is going to impact him a fair bit. And I do think it's going to affect the structure of the team in attack. They're going to be less reliant on that right side. And I think they're going to be focusing on the left side where they've got more attacking assets and maybe make that a bit more of a play. At worst, if they do keep attacking the right, it's going to be fast attacking through the hands out to like Warbrick and co. So yeah, there might be try contributions, maybe not so much try assists. Remains to be seen, but yeah, I do think that he's a bit of a bust for me this season. He's not one that I'm looking at as having another Dally M season.
No, and it's got to be said that he's copping a lot of injuries over the last couple of years as well, which is going to be a little bit of a worry if you're drafting him as early as you have been in the last couple of seasons. Which is honestly, we're talking round 1, early round 2. Picks here for Jerome Hughes over the last couple of seasons. He's been that good without Katoa. I mean, and the thing is, why Jerome Hughes has so much time is defenses are on their heels because they've got to worry about Katoa. They've got to worry about what he's doing. When you've just got some fucking blow-in playing edge back rower, defenses don't give a fuck about him. You know who they're going to give a fuck about? They're going to give a fuck about Jerome Hughes when he's got the ball in his hands. They're going to rush him. They're going to hit him, and he's going to have less time. And defenses are just going to be like, look, if you can beat us out, if you can beat us on the outside with Lasardi and Warbrick, cool, bro. Like, cool. Yeah. But we're going to hit you. So that's one thing that sort of detracts him for me. Like you said, I think he's still going to be a great player. I just don't think he'll have those crazy outlier massive games. No Pappy in the team. I think that's understated as well.
And no Nas as well, that roll on. They do get Dave Miley, so it's not the worst thing. But yeah, it's I do think if they get Lomax is probably going to be put on the right edge. That changes things big time. So definitely keep your finger on the pulse with this. I might need to caveat my bust if Lomax does come along. But it's
that changes things.
That changes everything. So the bust becomes a boom because there's you're losing one absolute attacking weapon outside and you're gaining probably an even bigger attacking weapon.
Yeah.
So,
but also he's on that 65 average. I don't see him dropping too much from if he averages 65, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's not too bad. But we're sort of
if he goes below 70, it's a bust for me.
Yeah, we're sort of looking at him as a bust off that non-injury affected average.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, he's likely to average 65 again, but a 65 average isn't a late round 1, early round 2 pick. That's for damn sure. So
No.
just
And
keep
for a
that in
player
mind.
who's got a buy in round 24, it's another thing that you've got to really navigate.
100%.
They've got a terrible strength of schedule through the finals systems. There's a lot of things that layer on top to really make Hughes a pretty poor choice in draft.
Another thing is just how successful the Storm were at the back end of that season, linking up with Coates. And sometimes, as a fan, you're just sitting back and just going, can you just fucking kick the ball to him?
Yeah.
And then that's what they were doing the last sort of 6-7 rounds. They were just going, like even Grant was just popping back at a dummy half and just chip kicking it over to Coates. So that may be the game plan. Just keep kicking it to Coates. And when they played the Broncos literally had to give up penalties every kicking play. Like Stags was honestly giving away shepherd penalties every single fucking game. Some of them were called, some of them weren't, but they were just like, look, just stop it somehow. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Just you need to stop it somehow. So, and again, like that might be the case where they're just so left heavy where Jerome Hughes just loses a little bit of ball that usually, the Storm are a right dominant attacking team. Righto, bro. Next up, Ozay Katoa, the whiz kid. Talk to me.
Yeah. Look, I'll be talking about him as the player in focus in the exclusive podcast.
Oh, glaze.
There's a bit of glaze. There's a bit of reality as well. And then there's a little bit more glaze. So it's, it's not a pick that comes without its risk because obviously second year syndrome and all that other shit comes in. But I think there's a big narrative to come out of it as well. So yeah, I'll be talking to that a bit.
Okay. He joins the suck fest over there in the exclusive Rub Down, available on the Rub Club. Go subscribe if you want a little bit of that. But let's get into the next category.
That's your sweet spot right there.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Fuck yeah.
Sweet spot. Picks 31 to 70, rounds 4 to 7 in a 10-man league. Tommy Dearden, Mitch Moses, Lockie Galvin, Jamal Fogarty, Dylan Brown, Adam Reynolds, Adam Dewey, Luke Metcalf, all sort of slide in here at this sweet spot. I'll kick it off with, Queensland's daddy.
The daddy.
The man himself, Tommy Dearden.
Daddy Dearden.
When you look at Dearden's year, he had 3 horrendous games to start the season where he got 18, 28, and 21. They're outliers. It's just not him, right? But then he went on to average 72 for the year. So he got those 3 shit scores out and then averaged 72 for the rest of the year. Now, we know that he's definitely got a ceiling and something that we haven't seen in previous years, but then 143 in round 8 versus the Titans. 55 in round 21 versus the Dragons. So the cunt can go nuclear. Super durable. Last 4 years, 21 games, 23 games, 22 games, 22 games. Obviously, Origin's going to be there from now on until he hangs the boots up. The big bad story here is the strength of schedule is no bueno. Bye in round 25 is always going to be hard to navigate. Picking a halfback that you're going to have to spend around 3 pick on and then trying to navigate how to fill his spot when you don't have him, which is smack bam in the middle of all final systems. It's hard to do.
Yeah, because you're going into the draft knowing you'll need a backup half.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's, even though the position is deep, it's not that deep when you've got to replace Thomas Dearden. So for me, he just automatically just disappears from my mind. And that's what I do with some of these players that have buys, especially have buys that are going to affect my finals run. I just delete them from my mind. It just makes my draft easier when I'm just not keen on blokes at all. And I get that there's people out there saying, yeah, but you have to make the finals. I've been doing this for a long time. I've only missed the finals once. You just got to back yourself to fucking make the finals. And if you don't, something else has gone horribly, horribly wrong, and it wasn't your draft.
Yeah. I don't think there's many people who fuck up their draft that significantly. Yeah. Look, Dearden's one that I've already put a red Sharpie through. I just looked at the strength of schedule in the finals. And yeah, I mean, we'll talk about like Scotty Drinkwater in the fullback one, but yeah, it's so hard to look at those two and go, I'm not keen on either now.
You just have to be not keen on, because it's just too hard. Those two especially, they're too hard to fill. Their absence leaves too much of a gap in your side, and you'll be pushing shit uphill because it'll be round 25. So it's a grand final, or that's a major prelim if you're the first two final systems. So you're playing someone that's top tier in your league, and if you're playing someone that's top tier in your league that's prepped for finals, that has really thought about their final system when they're drafted, you're fucked.
Yeah, I think with your first three picks, you can't be picking someone that has a bye in your grand final. That's a given. But even a prelim.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree, and that's a rule of thumb that I fucking live by. And does that create value for those specific players in your league if they drop? Of course, but still, even with value, I just don't want that headache. I don't want that headache in finals. And I mean, you had that headache with Nico Hines. How stressful was it?
I had it with Nico Hines, but I also had it with Terrell May. I didn't realize how heavily I'd be relying on Terrell May as a captaincy option until round 23 came around. And that actually, that changed my season because I didn't have that safe 80 option as captain. I then lost that first round in the finals, had to play the second, and it changed the structure of how I got to the finals. I would have played you before you went supersonic. I would have then got straight to the grand final. It would have,
Well, the two games that you didn't have your stars, you lost.
Actually, that's 100% right. Yeah.
You lost when you didn't have Terrell May, and you lost against me when you didn't have Nico Hines.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. That's what happens when you don't have a pick one in your side. It's very hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Especially when you're coming up against someone that has their pick one.
Yeah. And that's where, look, you can if you're drafting like a player, say round 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, and they're injured, they're not playing, they've got a bye in the grand final prelim, it matters less because the player that you're replacing them with isn't like a massive drop down.
The gap isn't as big.
So it's much more manageable. The gap for me was supersonic. It was too big of a difference.
Yep. You are the walking, talking billboard for don't draft pick one when they've got a bye in your major prelim or grand final.
Yep.
Righto. Next up, who you want to talk about now?
Mitchy Moses. So
this is interesting.
I'm very keen on Mitchy Moses this season. Now, I don't think his attacking output or anything like that goes up because he's obviously lost Lomax as an attacking asset. But with Lomax going, he does pick up the goal kicking. So he kicked one or two goals last season. I think he had 0.3 on his average from goal kicking. So I think you can add 10 to his average, maybe take a couple off for the loss of Lomax as an attacking asset. But yeah, I think he's going north of 60 as an average this season. I think there's a definite uptick in the quality of attack that we see from them. Like we've got a Yongi who's got another year under his belt. We've got a lot of the younger spine players as well, having more time in there. You've got Pezzett coming in. I do think that they're starting to build something and they're buying into Riles' philosophy. So I'm really big on Moses. I've got him.
Mom, that's low hanging fruit there with Boom. But I totally agree. I totally agree. Now, Mitchy Moses usually averages 14, 15 points a game in goals. Last year, Lomax averaged 11 points in goals, but Lomax has been a bit horrible.
He's a terrible goal kicker.
Yeah. So let's conservatively give Mitch Moses 12 points a game in goals for 2026. Still 68 average.
Yeah. I think there is a potential for him to get to a 70. We haven't really seen it in the past, so I'm not going to hang my hat on that. I think we've got him pegged at around about a 64 average. I'm comfortable with that. The other thing to really take into account is the strength of schedule in the finals is great for both the Eels and for Mitch Moses in particular.
Like that.
So the right half, second overall for his strength of schedule in the finals.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. And with Jonah Pez out there on the left, there's a big chance that Mitch Moses runs both sides of the field, plays both sides of the ruck. Yum. I mean, anytime you start talking about dominant halves fucking running both sides of the ruck, erection, I mean, boing, boing, boing. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm all over Mitchy Moses and that strength of schedule that you mentioned. Yeah, you got
kiss.
Yep, you got to love that. I mean, holy, I'm just looking at it now. Round 25 grand final system. Eels have the best strength of schedule. Moses has the best strength of schedule. 1-1. I haven't seen that yet, so yum. Round 26 system, grand final system. Eels have the second best. He has the second best. And round 27 grand final system. Eels have the fifth, and he has the second.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one you've got to have very high up in your pre-drafts.
God, throw your panties at me, Mitch. Let me smell them. Holy, holy, that's good. I haven't looked at that yet. That was that was an out of body experience then when I was reading that. That's very nice. Woo! So again, like obviously we're talking about Mitch Moses in the sweet spot, but a guy that you could reach for in the gun category.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing to really take into account though is the last 3 seasons he's gone 19 games, 8 games, and then 13 games. So durability is a concern with him.
Will play Origin
he's
too.
Obviously going to play Origin. So is he going to be fresh over that Origin period? Maybe not. Is he going to get a rest over that Origin period? I would suggest so. But yeah, like I do see him going back to those averages from a few years ago where he got 70, 68, and 64. So I definitely see him around that sort of realm.
Because if the Eels play well, he is capable of averaging 60 without the goal kicking. Then you chuck 12 points conservatively on top of that. That's when we start creeping into those 70s. So the potential is there for a huge boom season. That's why he's in my classic team. Oh, Mitchy Moses, he's in there. Cemented.
He's undervalued in classic. Big time.
100%. All right, bro. I'll get into Jamal Fogarty. So we'll go boom to bust. Yeah. Jamal Fogarty, and this ties in perfectly with my Olakwatu spiel and dribble that I went on about the other night. He will get the goal kicking, so you can count that. Last 3 years, he's averaged 83% strike rate. Garrick, last 3 years, averaging 75%. So it's pretty clear that Jamal Fogarty is the better goal kicker. Now, the new team, the new combinations, we know that's going to hurt his output. But the big one for me is that he is going from the best forward pack in the game to a forward pack that is struggling. Forward pack, when you look at it, will lack punch. Look at this. Tapane, Papali'i, Young, Hosking, Horsburgh versus Gerbo, Paseka, Burbo, Ola, and Hetherington. Not even in the same fucking multiverse.
Yeah. It's look, I think that is the one thing that a lot of people haven't been taking into consideration is that drop down in forward pack. Everyone's been talking about the goal kicking, whether he's going to be keeping that, who's going to be running off. who's running off him. So
this is X's and O's type stuff, people. Forwards lay the platform for their halves. If you don't realize that, you haven't been watching rugby league for very long. Now, the Raiders, they scored the fourth most points last year. Manly scored the 9th, and that's going to drop. Manly is going the opposite direction to the Raiders, right? Now, Fogs, he kicked the 3rd most goals in 2025 in 92. Garrick kicked 64. He had 23 try assists, Fogarty, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's just a hard year to replicate. It would be a hard year to replicate if he was still playing for the Raiders. But now he doesn't have the same tools. He doesn't have the same engine room to help him. I predict this Manly outfit to be a left dominant attacking team, like I said earlier. That's going to starve him of ball as well. Also, you've got to think that Turbo is such an integral part to this team for scoring points. So when you're thinking about those goal-kicking opportunities, Turbo is so integral to that. What if he gets injured again? So that's another worry. New team, less scoring, not on the dominant edge. Forward pack not as good. I rest my case.
Look, there's no one single point that I really push back too hard on. I do think that there is an uptick in his assets on his right side. Whether it's Cooler or whether it's Garrick, I do think it is a bit of a minor step up from Timoko, and I do think obviously Ola is a better attacking asset than Hosking. On his day, Saab is better than Savage. So, look, I think it's I think if they do attack down that right edge, I think they'll get some joy. But yeah, I'm totally on board with them being a left dominant team this year. Everything just seems that way, and they're not going to be in attacking positions as often because field position wins games. And where do you get field position? Through your forward pack.
100%. You just look at Fogarty's career, right? 59, 63, 52, 55, then a 68. It's a bit of an outlier. So, like I said, even if he was rolling back into the Raiders HQ for 2026, I'd probably still be talking about him as a bust.
Yeah. I think like we've seen it with a few teams over the years, but any team that goes from being predicted the wooden spooners to winning the minor premiership, it's a really hard thing to back up, and especially when they're losing quality people. Look, either way, Jamal Fogarty comes into this season as a player moving clubs. He's not someone that I want to be touching in the first few rounds. So he's going to be a slow burn at best.
I feel like these two teams, Manly and Raiders, are on two completely different trajectories. One's to the fucking moon. The other one is just burying itself.
Well, I think the loss of Fogarty is going to be big on
unfortunately, Jamal, I think, has made the wrong decision here.
Well, I think he was being pushed out either way.
Yeah.
They weren't renewing his contract, and it was either stay there and potentially get cut off by Sanders halfway through the season, or just make the move early, get some dosh.
How long is he there for?
Probably 3 years, I'd imagine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd be surprised if it was a 2-year contract.
No, and I'm very fond of Fogarty. I drafted Fogarty last year. It was fantastic. And I gave him up because I won Jerome Hughes, and then I traded back for him when Hughes got injured.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of things for me to get me to where to win me the comp. Oh, fuck. Watch it, guys. But yeah, I just think he'll fall off a little bit. That's why we've got him at 10. People are going, Fogarty at 10. That's why. Yep. Bro, next up.
My boy, my sleeper. He's in a coma. No one's talking about him. Lockie Galvin. It's his second year in the blue and white. It's his first pre-season with the club. I just think that like the combos in that side, they're an untapped resource that he was just doing off instinct. But those combos are just going to flourish. It's going to be a lot more embedded in the team, and I do think that they're going to be a better side. They've got a better platform that's going to be set by Leo Thompson coming in. Look, there are too many positives to come out of it for him to just maintain what he did last year. So he had a 56 and 6 average last season. That jumps up to a 60 average when you take out injury affected games. Yeah, I just like, as much as the haircut threw me last season when he signed for the Bulldogs, I think he's a quality pickup, and I'm going to be looking at him pretty closely.
Even if you just look at the games that he played at halfback for the Dogs, so those last 8 games, it's a 60 average. So he's got a 3-point bump there straight away.
Yeah.
Just playing 7 for the Dogs. And I mean, for anyone switching clubs mid-season, that has to play on your mind. That has to affect your game. Full preseason, combinations of flourishing. Yeah, 65 average at least.
Yep. I'll be pushing closer to 70, so maybe like a 68. But yeah, I think there's enough in him to go far, and the strength of schedule at the back end of the season is quite good as well. So the Doggies have a good start and a good end to the season from a strength of schedule perspective. There's a lot of positives to take out of it.
For sure. And I mean, everyone's been touting the kid for a long time, and obviously the Dogs were big on him, getting him over there halfway through the season, whether that was the right move, the wrong move, whatever. We're moving on. It's 2026.
It was the wrong move for 2025, but they were planning for the future. So
For sure. So yeah, and their strength of schedule, like you said, is very good. So if he's there, sort of like those mid rounds, round 4, round 5, definitely looking at him.
Yep. No, absolutely.
All right, I will go next, and I will talk about my boom, Dylan Brown. Now, this is low-hanging fruit as well, but no apologies will be made. 7 assists, 3 tries in 3 games for the Kiwis and the Pack Champs. That's what I'll be leaning on, just diving into these stats and how well he played in those 3 games.
Not NRL?
No, against better defenses in the rep arena.
Okay.
Would you think that's a better measuring stick? I do, when you're playing better defenses in the rep arena. But yeah, 2 out of 3 games, he was the top fantasy point leader. Obviously, they didn't have Supercoach points, but top 2 out of 3 top fantasy points, which you would say that's the top Supercoach scorer as well. In the final, get ready, Wook, and let me know if this is worth talking about, cunt. He had 198 running meters, 1 line break, 3 line break assists, 3 try assists, 10 tackle breaks, 6 offloads, and 16 tackles. I haven't seen a game like that from anyone in a fucking long time. That's Turbo-esque. That's 2021 Turbo-esque, that is. 10 tackle breaks, 6 offloads? It's like a 180-point game there.
Have we ever seen him put that out on a club game or?
No, and if he hadn't done it here, we would say, well, he hasn't done it. But now we know he's capable.
He's
of
capable.
That. Yeah, against in the rep arena as well.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, last year complete throwaway, 55 average. But yeah, the year before that was a 67. 2 years before that, 76 and 74. Now he has the ability to be a 70 average halfback, even in the Knights team. Do you know what I mean? And that's without goal kicking and anything else to add on to that average. That's a 76 and a 74 average, just doing the damn thing. Tackle breaks, line breaks, floats, all those things I just mentioned that were on show in the Pack Champs final. I know one thing, he'll definitely beat the fuck out of that 55 average, and that's why I've got him as a boom. And on Smith, I think it's great for
low-hanging fruit.
So I said that at the start. I took your weapon there. I took your weapon and holstered it myself. Sand on Smith, I think it's great for Dill. I was a little bit worried if he was going to be the main half and Fletcher Sharp was going to be the 5'8", which is not his game.
Yeah.
But with Sand on Smith there, he can focus on his running game. And that's where all these Supercoach points do come from. Then we start looking at this fucking Knights left edge. Oh, man. Dylan Brown. Lucas, Best, Sharp, KP on the sweep. I mean, this left edge is going to be giving me wet dreams for the most part of the 2026 season.
Yeah.
If you can't score points with all that personnel out there, with all those weapons, there's something wrong with you. So, although it's an easy call for a 55 average, I honestly think he could be a 70 average halfback, Dylan Brown. I think he's up for a huge season. The pressure's on him. A lot of chat about they're paying overs and all that bullshit. I think there's going to be a bee on his bonnet. And it looked like he was playing angry when he was playing for the Kiwis.
True.
It looked like he was like, you know what? I am fucking worth this much. And when you saw that game, he is worth that much. Yeah. So, and the thing I love about him is he can be a selfish player. Give me the ball. I'll take it on my wing and I'll do everything. I'll do everything in this play. So
follow me.
I think he's up for a big one. And that combination with him and KP could be dangerous.
Now, I hate, and I absolutely cannot understate this, I hate giving you ammunition, but he's down as a halfback. He's unlikely to play halfback when Sandon Smith is in the side, in the halves. There is a chance, and there is a very strong world where he gets 5'8" halfback dual before round one.
Stop the fight, bro.
I think.
Stop the fucking fight.
If that's the case, we need to look at bumping him up a little bit.
For sure.
Add on to that, Knights have their last bye of the season in round 27. So if you're around 25 or 26 grand final system, you only have to navigate 2 byes through the season. Look, there's a lot of strong positives out of it. I'm holding my opinion until I see some trials and see what the trial form looks like. But if he comes out in trials with a 6 on his back, yeah, I'm in. I'm in big time.
Yeah, halfback 5'8" dual.
Like that is tasty as. That's when you can
double dip on these halfbacks.
Absolutely.
And ruin someone's day.
How fun would that be?
Oh, I just went down. I started picturing draft day and just what I was going to do. You know, getting Jaden Campbell and then having Dylan Brown. I mean, whoa. Okay, cool. Yep, Dylan Brown, love him. Get him up here. Want to buff him?
Want to buff him?
Yeah. All right, bro. What do you got next?
Well, I've got Adam Reynolds down here, and look, as hard as it is for me to say this, I've got him as my no fucking way. Now, injuries are just hampering the poor guy. And last season with the Broncos, before he potentially goes to open market, we've seen him with niggles and stuff in the past, and hasn't really affected his output, and he hasn't missed games. But we've seen in the last few seasons that it has. I think Father Time catches up with everyone, and I think it gets more and more difficult for him. Yeah, the fact that they've got a ready and waiting Ben Hunt there to take over at halfback when and if he gets injured, I think they'll be resting him at times. So that's another thing to consider. Yeah, I'm just not looking at him at all this season. I'm partially looking at excluding him from my draft just in case I get Broncos fever during the draft, which happens.
Yeah, I haven't given him one thought
Yep.
in the preparation this season. Yeah. I haven't looked at him, haven't given him 1 second of my time. So I totally agree. And with the names that are above him, you know, you're pretty confident that you can get someone that's going to do a job a lot better than he can without the risk. Right, bro. Let's get into Adam Doueihi. Now, went down a bit of a rabbit hole with Adam Doueihi today. Let's get into it. 72 average at 6. That's 5'8", over 8 games in 2022. 60 average at 5'8" in 4 games in 2023. 71 average over 3 games he played in the halves in 2025, taking out that injury game where he got knocked out. 68 average in the halves since 2022. But a lot has happened in those 4 years. Like, he has copped a lot of fucking injuries.
There's a few ACLs in that time frame.
100%, 100%. So he did average 79 in the last 8 games. If you take out that concussion game, he did have 3 tons. He had 9 points a game in goals. Now, the big question here with Adam Dewey, and I guess that's why we have him outside the top 10, is because we've got him in a bit of a holding pattern because there's a lot of question marks about him. Now, as soon as we start getting some confirmation or some answers to these questions, that's where we can move him up or keep him there. But he seems to be in a bit of a holding pattern here. The questions are, does he play halfback? Everyone seems to think that he will. It seems like he will, but there's no confirmation of that. And does he kick goals? There's no confirmation of that as well. Now, if the answer to both of those questions is yes, then we can peg him for a high 60s average, and he most likely does make the top 10. Well, he will make the top 10 halfbacks for us. But if he doesn't have the goal kicking, maybe we have him at a 60 average, a high 50s average. Now, if he has no goal kicking and he's in the centres, it's a 50 to 55 average. He averaged 55 at centre with goal kicking in 2025.
Yeah, and that's taken into account the high ceiling games that he did play at lock and in the halves. So yeah, I totally agree. It's a tough one with him, and it's a wait and see. If I'm honest, you got to really have your finger on the pulse with news that comes along from the Tigers. Watch a few of the trial games, and just try to get a flavour of where he's going to land.
Yeah, like he may make the top 10 if he's not goal kicking and playing halfback. But if he's not goal kicking and he's not playing halfback, he's right where we have him now. Maybe, yeah. So, and he does have the bye in round 23 as well. Yeah,
and in round 1.
Yep. So, I guess, yeah, that's why we've got him where he is. He's in a bit of a holding pattern until we get a little bit more word on what he's doing, because the difference between him playing center and not goal kicking to what he does at halfback goal kicking is 15 points in average.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge. 15 plus points. So yeah, it's just something that we have to keep our fingers on the pulse with.
Definitely.
Bruz, let's get into the bargain
The
basement.
battle of wits has begun.
Well, that's the way bargain basement works.
I'm very aroused.
And we have toppled over the cliff, guys. We are in free fall now in the halfback position because there's fuck all doing.
Plenty
there
of
is
classic options,
nothing.
but that's about it.
That is about it. So we've got, Daniel Atkinson, we've got Ethan Sanders, Tanner Boyd, Jamie Humphries. You wouldn't be happy with any of these guys. I will say with Ethan Sanders, in 2025 in New South Wales Cup, 6 tries, 15 assists, 7 line breaks, 9 offloads. He averaged almost 1 tackle break per game, 11 tackles a game. So not a bad output at New South Wales Cup. Reports are that he will kick goals for the Raiders as well. And word is that he hits them well. Fogarty averaged 14 points a game in goals. He won't do that, but conservatively, let's just give him 10. So why can't he scrape together a 50 average? I'm not looking at him any higher than that. It'd be a 45 to 50 average, even with the goal kicking. Another positive is, you've got Kobe Black there breathing down his neck to take his job. So there is no room for slow or poor games from Ethan Sanders. That's always good for performance when you've got pressure like that. So if you were to just stash someone on your bench for a little bit of depth, I do like the Ethan Sanders play. Obviously, he's firming as a nice classic pickup as well, Ethan Sanders now, but he's the only guy that's sort of got anything interesting to talk about in the list here.
Yeah. Look, it's Daniel Atkinson had one game, I think, where he started in the halves, and look, you take out the other games, that was a 61 points. So, look, he's got some scoring potential. We haven't really seen it in an extended form. I watched him play for Newtown a few times, but yeah, it's he's one that I think can get a 50-odd average, but look, there's a lot of risk there, a lot of risk associated with that. He's come out early on and said that, I can steer the ship around and blah, blah, blah. We haven't seen that consistently from him. especially not at an NRL level. So I think there is a world where, look, he might gravitate towards that running 6 role, which I have seen him play a little bit of that. And if that's the case, then look, he could be dual at some point in the season as well. So we have obviously seen Flano play halfback a lot. So that wouldn't surprise me one iota.
And dual now, that's a nice bench pickup.
Yeah.
Just having a 5'8" halfback dual on your bench is just so, it's so valuable. And I mean, Daniel Atkinson, he's likely to take up that right edge. So he's not even on the sexy edge for the Dragons.
So. No, exactly. So look, I think there's no massive things that I'm looking at him from a draft perspective. So yeah. The other guy on the list that we'll probably make mention of is Tanner Boyd. He'll fill in until Lukey Metcalf comes back from his injuries. Look, he's probably only going to get 10 games at max. When does Metcalf come back? Like round 8, I think, around 1.
Yeah, I think he's pegging for around that. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, even if you wanted to start with him, it's too much for risk to try to play him consistently. Yeah, you could get him late in the draft at least, but he's coming off that 58.8 average. He's going to be high on pre-draft lists, that's for sure. Yeah, so round 8, bang on. Okay. Yeah, Tanner Boyd, put a line through him.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough there. Let's move on to the Hail Mary.
Hail Mary time here, 4 seconds.
We're going to bet it all.
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
So bench spots for here, rounds 12 plus in a 10-man league. The only guy I really want to talk about here is Tyron Wishart. Now, 5'8" halfback dual, 60 plus minute games. He has a 55 average. The reason I want to mention him here is he's one injury away from not just one player, but from Munster, Hughes, Ant, maybe even Trent Liero. I mean, even if Suafa'alongo gets injured, any one of those guys get injured and he can go into a big minute role for the Storm. That's very rare. Actually, just doesn't exist in the NRL, where you could have 5 players get injured and any one of those 5 players, this guy comes in and replaces them. That's who Tyron Wishart is for the Storm. And that's why I like him on deeper benches and deeper leagues as a pickup. And I mean, even if you don't have a deeper league or deeper bench, it's not a bad go because it could work out huge for you. We've seen Munster have issues with lower leg soft tissue injuries. We've seen how injury prone Hughes has been. And if Suafa'alongo gets the fullback spot, he's a small body. He's been injured a lot.
Yeah,
so like there's a chance that at some point this season, and we've seen it where Tyron Wishart comes on and he excels when he gets big minutes. He's a good player. So I just wanted to mention him. If it's the last pick of your draft and Wishy's there, could do worse.
Yeah. And look, you got to take into account with all that Pezzett's gone. Bronson Garlick's gone. So he is the guy. That's the reason why he's the last man standing, essentially.
Yep. And because he's moving on to the Bears, do they just thrash him? Do they play him more minutes? Do they try and get every last ounce of blood, sweat, and tears out of Wishy before they move him onto the Bears? Maybe he plays more minutes because of that this year.
Yeah. Run him into the ground. Give him an ACL or something.
I hope they don't, but yeah, there's a big chance that they do.
No.
He's my sleeper, Wishy.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk about guys that are fucking in a coma. He's well and truly snoring.
Yeah. I mean, like you look at his base power average of 31.4, like it's not that bad of a 4 to come from, is it?
100%. Yeah. And like if you only look at those games where he's got big minutes, even coming off the bench, he's serviceable. And that halfback 5'8" duel is hard to look by. Like,
not as,
and all
not
of a
as
sudden,
much of an AE nightmare.
But for sure. And then, during State of Origin when you've got no Trent Liero, you've got no Cameron Munster. He's going to be in there. He's going to be playing 6. So, yeah, there's different value there for Wishy late in drafts.
No,
other than him, mate, there's not much else to fucking talk about here.
Nah, not on that list. I think, look, Mitch Woods might get a crack at some point in the season because there's a bit of bad banter about Burton maybe getting moved on at the end of this season or next. Look, I think he's been the heir apparent in the halves. So I think the matchup between Galvin and Woods, that combo is going to be a big ticket at some point.
Yeah. These other guys are probably waivers throughout the year if something happens, if there's a bit of a shake-up. All right, bro, let's get into the happy ending.
Happy ending?
I got a builder.
Let me break it down for you so you understand. I'll hold your hand like a small child. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Fuck yeah.
Now, we've sort of covered a lot of this, but we'll dive back into it, and that's the strategy when it comes to halfback. Let's do it, Wook. What are we talking about?
So, look, in 2025, halfbacks made up 9% of the top 100, so they had 9 representatives in the top 100 averaging players with at least 15 games played. Now, all 9 of those averaged over 60 points. And out of those 9, 7 landed in the top 50. So this is where we need to be doing our work, is in those top 50 picks. So the first 5 rounds. 8 dual halfbacks from 2025 have lost their dual status. And we touched on that earlier. Only 4 players have gained halfback, and that's not with a dual position. So what does that tell us? It tells us it's a fucking important position. And Natty alluded to it before, where it's between CTW and halfback as to what's the second most important position behind fullback. So, look, I am attacking it in this way. I'm looking at them at getting at least one halfback in the first 3 rounds. Depending on what halfback I get, I might be looking to swing back, sacrifice a Tuaraf or CTW pick, and maybe do a return pick on someone a little bit lower in the pecking order. So maybe a Dylan Brown who may pick up dual, maybe a Lockie Galvin, very early one, who also may get 5'8" at some point in the season. We don't know. So yeah, it's there's a lot of swings and roundabouts, but look, Supercoach HQ has not done us any favors with the duels. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, and again, like the importance of halfback can't be understated, but also depending on your individual draft and what happens during the draft, if there is a run on halfbacks, which I can see happening in a lot of leagues, that's when you have to engage Bruce Lee mode and you have to be like, right, what's happening here? Don't get sucked into this. It is a position that has depth. Let's make sure I'm not reaching for a halfback where I shouldn't be and make a decision that's a smart decision and not just follow the crowd.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of halfbacks fall in those first 3 rounds. If you're early on, that's why I'm saying and that's why we're both saying it's good to sort of prioritize the position early because you're going to get a JC, a Sam Walker, a Dylan Brown if you reach for him, a Mitch Moses, one of these guys that have got a lot of potential, and that's a smart move early on. And if you miss those, if you miss those guys, you've obviously got to sort of pump the brakes and have a bit of a think about, okay, what am I going to do here? Can I let the next couple of rounds slip and hopefully get a Fogarty or someone a little bit later? Or someone that's going to sleep, or people are going to sleep on Adam Dewey. Those are the decisions you're going to have to make, but you also run the risk of guys double dipping on halfbacks and really fucking ruining your day.
Yeah, and the lack of duels means that there will be people like me who are looking at a double dip. And yeah, it's a tactic that's going to have to be considered for a lot of people.
Especially if you're a guy that drafts Sam Walker or a Jerome Hughes.
You have to. You have to be considering that. Guys
that have history with these injuries. So, yep, it is a risk.
Even Jaden Campbell has had his injury issues.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Yeah. Yep, big time.
Mitchy Moses, there's a long list.
And that's it. They're all getting bigger, badder, and meaner and you've got slighter bodies. You've got smaller guys, and they're going to get more injured because they attract a lot of, attack coming their way. Forwards are going to want to run at them, and that's why they get injured more often.
Yeah, 100.
Okay, let's get into Boom Bust
I wanted
Sleeper.
you to see these player evaluations.
What's wrong with Cal?
I think he's a bust.
I mean, the guy has hammies that could literally pull a car.
Okay, Booms, I think it's pretty obvious, by the way. I just performed a great deal of fellatio on him, and that's Dylan Brown. He's my boom. It's an easy boom at 55, but I'm counting him in as a huge boom. Like, could be 15 points in a boom here for Dylan Brown.
I'm same vein. Mitchy Moses, very easy pick here. Gets the goal kicking in a side that I think is going to be kicking a fair few goals. I think he's going to be looking at a mid-60s average, off of 55 average last season. So, Mitchy Moses, easy peasy.
Both guys capable of a 70 average in 2026. That is for damn sure. Bust, easy for me, Jamal Fogarty. I outlined everything that's going against Jamal Fogarty for 2026. Still going to be a good player. You're still going to probably pick him and be happy with his score or glad with his scores. Just don't go into 2026 thinking he's going to bust out another 68 average.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Look, for me, Jerome Hughes, the loss of Eli Katoa, the loss of Nas, and the loss of Pappy. I mean, that's massive loss of personnel. If they get Lomax, that bust changes into potentially a boom. So that's the one caveat I'll have. But yeah, from a bust perspective, even on the 64 average, I'm not confident he goes much over that. The bust is really for that non-affected bench average of 74. I just feel like it's going to be very, very difficult for him to achieve anywhere close to that with the losses that he's having to take.
It's a bust on the expectation that we all have on Jerome Hughes.
100.
Yep. All right, sleeper. I just talked about him then. Tyron Wishart, halfback 5'8" dual, and just the possibility of him getting a big minute role with one of 5 guys getting injured at the Storm. It's very sleepy.
Yeah, another sleepy guy for me, Lockie Galvin. I just think that with a full preseason under his belt with the side that he joined halfway through last year, add on Leo Thompson, one of the form forwards in the comp. Look, it's hard to look past him from my perspective. I'd almost have him as a boom if I didn't pick Mitch Moses.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do no fucking way.
No fucking way. No, I'm not working with this guy. I've been there, done that.
Shan't be touching Luke Metcalf, and I'm invoking the Wooker rule of not touching blokes coming off an ACL, returning 7 to 10 rounds into the season. And how many ACL? I mean, he's had more ACL injuries than I've had hot dinners, so shan't be touching Luke Metcalf
or even King Browns.
That's it.
And we both know you've had a few of them. Look, he's one that, he's got a low base power average. He has a strong running game that leads to a lot of points. Like, he's not going to be as agile, especially not in the first, say, few months of coming back. But also, he's a pretty terrible goal kicker. Even when he had the kicking boots, he was missing them left, right, and center. 8.4 average from goal kicking. You take that off if they should redistribute the goal kicking to someone else in the team. Immediately he drops down by that 8.5. You take into account the lower output. Yeah, I'm not massively keen on him.
No, thank you. No bueno and no thank you.
For me, it's the aging Adam Reynolds. Look, we saw him have his issues at the back end of last season. I just think it's going to be a bit more of the same. I think he'll still play the majority of games. It's just when he's going to be potentially rested and also when he's going to be injured through parts of the season. So, yeah, I've put a Sharpie through him and I shan't be touching him unless I've already picked a halfback that I think may be getting dual, and maybe I'll have a dice at him if everyone else has got their halfback sorted.
Yeah, fair call. Righto, bro. I mean, that's halfback done.
Done and dusted.
If there's anything else you want to add, we're hanging the boots up for the halfback position.
Yeah. No, look, I think there's a lot of trial information that that's going to probably determine a few moves and shakes within this top 20. But yeah, I'm pretty confident with where we've got a lot of these players.
Yep. To summarize this one, I want a good one.
Oh, you need a good one. Desperate
I want a
good one.
Yep. Gagging for a good halfback.
Gawking even.
How's it go?
You know better than I do.
Insert sound of Wooker gagging on a cock here. Right, now get over there to the Rub Club, sign up, $8 a month if you want the best statistical backup for your Supercoach sides, whether that be draft or classic. We got your back. Don't worry about that. Also, you can get your hands on the challenge pack for a little bit cheaper. And, of course, everything that you'll ever need for your prep, especially leading up to draft day. Ranks. I mean, we've ranked everything. Don't about ranks. Got ranks coming out of our fucking arseholes. Stat porn up to wazoo. It's the most comprehensive list and collation of stats that you'll find for Supercoach. And I'm not blowing smoke up our asses there. That's just
without
truth,
question.
guys.
Without
That's
question.
just truth. So get in there, have a go, have a look, and if you don't like it, I mean, look, if you think you're serious about Supercoach and you get in there and you don't like it, well, then you ain't that serious. Let's be fair here.
Look, it helps set up your season from a draft perspective, but also to set up that first round one team in Classic. It's my Bible. Mate, we live off it. It helps me draft fucking exceptionally well every season. If only we could have something that helps me at the back end of seasons. Yeah, might have to look at that.
Look, when you're cursed, like Wooker is, nothing is going
literally a curse at this point.
Nothing's going to help you. No amount of stats and ranks and lists are going to help that curse. No. That's what I said. If anyone has the number of some sort of like witch doctor or something, like somewhere that we can go. Yeah, somewhere that we can go, Wooker and I can go, and I can explain to this cat lady that he's cursed. He's cursed and he needs like burn some incense around him. I don't know, like flick water at it. I don't know what you want to do, how you're going to do it. He needs to be exercised. That's what needs to happen. So if anyone knows of anyone that is proficient in the dark arts,
in the dark,
we need your help. We need your help. Wooker needs your help.
Yeah.
So get in contact.
Thanks.
No worries. I'll get you back, bro. I'm starting to feel sorry for you.
You can't have that.
No. All right, let's get out of here. There are many things a man can do with his time.
This is better than those things.
You're damn right, Wooker. Catch us next round on the weekly Rub Down.
You can take me now. I've seen it all. Get that India.
Ta-ta!
Nailing the outros at the moment.
Yeah.